Welcome to the Explainer. So look, if you're running an agency or maybe you handle marketing for service-based businesses, you already know the absolute lifeblood of your operation, right? It's qualified local leads. Finding them, capturing them, and obviously converting them. But getting those local leads consistently, man, that is exactly where so many strategies just completely fall apart. So today, we're going to fix that. We are diving deep into mastering geomarketing. Okay, let's dive right into this. Take a phrase like plumber near me or, roof repair in Sydney. When a customer types those exact words into a search engine, they aren't just casually browsing or researching a topic for fun. Nope, they have an immediate problem and they are actively looking for a local pro to solve it right now. I mean, high-intent search terms like these, that is exactly what money looks like in the digital landscape. Capturing that clear, location-based intent is the entire foundation of effective geomarketing. Here's our roadmap for today. We're mapping out the 6 deadly geomarketing pitfalls destroying local SEO. The geomarketing trap, ignoring search intent, inconsistent NAP info, neglected Google profiles, missing location pages, and overlooking data.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the geomarketing trap.
Here is the core problem agencies are facing right now. It's a fundamental misalignment. When your campaigns aren't perfectly aligned with location-based intent, you aren't just missing out on a few stray clicks. No, you are actively throwing your budget out the window. It's like casting a giant broken net into an empty ocean. Meanwhile, hyperlocal intent acts as a targeted magnet, pulling in that ready-to-buy traffic while your competitors are out there just wasting their ad spend. Moving right along to our second pitfall, ignoring local search intent. And this brilliantly illustrates what we were just talking about. There is a massive divide between a strategy that bombs and one that wins. The generic trap is targeting broad terms like best contractor services. Agencies fall for this all the time because they're chasing those flashy vanity impression metrics over actual tangible conversions. But doing that completely tanks your visibility in local search. The hyperlocal approach, targeting phrases like emergency electrician in London or home renovation contractor in Texas, that matches real user intent perfectly. It targets the exact customer you want and dramatically boosts your local SEO performance. Okay, on to Section 3, inconsistent business information. Now, as marketers, we've all heard of NAP, right? Name, address, and phone number. But the trap here isn't just knowing what the acronym stands for. It's realizing that search engines demand absolute perfection here. A single mismatched digit, or even just a slightly different spelling across Yelp, Google, or your regional directories, that instantly fractures your authority. So the crucial point is this. Search engines are basically highly skeptical detectives. If your street abbreviation varies even slightly, like using STEET instead of street, their trust in your legitimacy just evaporates. And your local rankings? Yeah, they plummet right alongside it. Unwavering trust literally dictates your local visibility. That brings us to pitfall number 4, neglecting Google business profiles. Let's rapid fire through the absolute worst ways agencies abandon these profiles. First, missing service descriptions. That just leaves your customers guessing. Second, outdated hours. There is literally nothing worse than an incredibly frustrated client showing up to locked doors, right? And third, a total lack of images, which honestly just makes the business look closed or completely inactive. Neglecting your Google business profile is a ridiculously costly oversight. But here's the fix, and it's not just about looking pretty for the customer, it's about feeding the algorithm. You've got to make regular updates to prove your business is active and thriving. You need to set precise categories so the search engine knows exactly who to send your way. And you have to aggressively collect customer reviews. That generates the critical social proof you absolutely need to rank. Let's hit Section 5, missing location-specific pages. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it highlights a huge architectural flaw on so many agency websites. It's the bottleneck effect, sending every single click from every single city to one generic homepage. Big mistake. If you're a service-based business covering multiple areas, you desperately need dedicated pages for each location you serve. Building specific pages, like plumbing services in Melbourne or roof repair in New York, directly improves your relevance and skyrockets your search rankings for those specific areas. And here's the catch. You can't just duplicate a generic page, swap out the city name, and call it a day.
The algorithms catch that lazy stuff instantly. To build in genuine localized authority, you've got to inject organic, local keywords right into the text. You need to outline specific service details relevant to that exact area. And, crucially, you need to feature real examples of work actually done in that specific community.
All right, our final pitfall, Section 6, overlooking data and tracking. Look, if you're running campaigns without obsessively reviewing your performance data, you're basically just guessing. Without tracking tools like Google Analytics, you are quite literally throwing darts in the dark. You have zero way to separate the specific locations that are actually generating leads from the ones that are just quietly burning through your budget. For your agency, geomarketing has to be treated like a living, breathing ecosystem. This is absolutely not a set-it-and-forget-it game. No way. If you aren't making continuous, ongoing adjustments based on real data over time, sudden market changes are going to render your campaigns completely obsolete before you even realize what happened. Let's pull all of this together and see how this builds into one highly actionable master checklist. First, target your keywords with precise local search intent. Next, demand perfect NEP consistency everywhere to build that vital search engine trust. Then, optimize your Google business profiles obsessively. Make sure you build out dedicated location-specific pages for real local relevance. And finally, track your performance relentlessly so you can keep refining your strategy. Now, navigating all of these pitfalls takes serious precision. And according to our sources, this is exactly where specialized professionals come into play. Groups like Intramind Solution help agencies implement these exact geomarketing strategies to lock in that visibility and drive really consistent leads. If you want to dive deeper, you can actually explore their methodology directly over at intramindllc.com. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final, pretty provocative question to ask yourself right now. Take a hard look at your current setup. Are your geomarketing campaigns actually capturing true local intent, or are they just quietly funding generic mistakes? It might be time to reevaluate your strategy today. Thanks so much for learning with me, and I will see you on the next one.